TV
Yeah,
screen.
come on, Dion, Peyton.
Give us something prime time.
Jeez, top and on.
Ridiculous. Top and on. Gotta love it. What do we got next, man?
Okay, this next segment is called Go Duck Yourself. In this segment, I'm going to take a certain issue, and it's going to be directed at a individual or a group of people. And for this very first edition of Go Duck Yourself, I am going to, it's going to be directed straight at the University of Oregon Athletic Department and their ridiculous rate increases for their season tickets and just tickets in general to college football. Over the past 5 seasons, the ticket prices have increased by 40%. To give you some numbers here, in 2008, to get a single reserved season ticket would have cost you $291. And this year, if you got that same ticket, you're paying $486. That's ducking ridiculous. That is way too high, way too fast. Just this last year alone, you're looking at a 13% increase from last year's ticket to this year's. That's ridiculous. And what they're doing with that is that you're making it so high so fast. It's throwing everybody off. And there was talk earlier in the season about losing the almighty streak, which I like having. But there's one thing I know about boning. And when you're going to bone somebody, you don't just jam it directly up their ass. You got to ease it in. Ease it in, slide it in, and hopefully whoever it is likes the end product. And what I'm trying to say here, what my point is that the university would have been much better off with a slow and steady increase instead of just right off the bat, just so high so quick. And that's the real problem here. And with that, they're choosing a certain amount of the kind of fans that they want. And I don't think it's necessarily good for the team or Autzen Stadium as a whole. They're taking people that aren't necessarily true fans, but maybe have some disposable income, or doing it because it's the thing to do. It's the in thing because we're good. We've gone to the Holiday Bowl, Rose Bowl, National Championship, Rose Bowl. I have to think that those same fans might not be going if it was a 6-win, 7-win, 5-win type of seasons in a row. And so what they're doing is fans that maybe aren't as good as the true fan, and they're alienating the blue-collar working man fan. The fans that are out there, rain or shine, that are yelling the O. They're standing up on defense. They're not telling people to sit down. And I'm one of these fans. I'm there whether we're getting our ass kicked by 50 or whether we're kicking somebody else's ass by 50. I'm not leaving the stands. And these last few games, just these first few games, I know they're wiener opponents, but the stadium's empty at the end of the game. And that's part of what this ticket increase is doing. Is it's making it to where we're losing our true fans here, our blue-collar fans. And there's a reason, any given season you can look at like a top 10, because all these riders are so bored at the beginning of the year, they come up with top 10, best venues to watch a game at. Autzen's there every year. But last time I've been looking, it's been moving down the list a little bit out of the top 10 because we're losing our good core fans, our guys that are yelling, our guys that are doing our job out there. And, I've seen these kind of fans win ball games practically. I don't want to take anything away from the coaches or the players, but there's a reason why you have a home field advantage. It's because your fans are there. They're driving this. And I've seen that win games. So lastly, I'm going to finish this off with a little story. After the 2008 season, myself, my dad, and old Zebaroo here, and a couple other guys, we went down to San Diego, and we thought it'd be cool to go to the Holiday Bowl down in San Diego at the Chargers Stadium, down at Qualcomm, and see them play Oklahoma State. It was a great experience, but what I noticed when we got there, I didn't know how many Duck fans there really were there. And including ourselves, everybody was being quiet. I don't know if we felt out of place because we were in Qualcomm, we were in somebody else's house, and there was a lot of Charger fans there that they weren't Duck fans, they weren't Oklahoma State fans, they were just football fans. I think they got cheap tickets. Anyway, so for whatever reason it was, the whole first half we were quiet the entire time, not being true Duck fans. And halftime came around and we're losing. We're getting our asses kicked, and it felt like we were losing. We felt pretty dejected. And then the second half starts, and we get on defense again. And we're still being quiet douchebags. And finally, I looked at my dad. I said, you know what? I said, F this. And I got up and I gave my best oh yell I could give, being loud and obnoxious. And then pretty soon, here my dad stood up, Zeb stood up, our group stood up, and then you look over, you got another group stands up, another group. Pretty soon our whole section was standing up and we're cheering. And the Ducks, and I like to say, not taking any credit from the team, but we started kicking their ass in the second half. And I realized how many Duck fans were actually there and took the trip. And by the end of it, the Charger fans are even standing up and yelling with us and giving us high fives and stuff. And so what my point is that in stuff like this, it takes one guy. It takes one guy to stand up, with the balls to stand up and say, you know what, this is wrong, screw this. So I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to stand up right now and say, U of O Athletic Department, for your high ticket increase on your season tickets, go duck yourself.